guys? It's Miss Andrea. I hope you're having a very good day. Welcome back to Sunday Fun Day. And today we're going to make stenciled leaf mugs. Now we tried this another year and it didn't work great because the reason I'm happy I'm doing this at home is because the best way to do it is when you're done painting, you bake it in the oven. And when you do that, the paint will stay on more. When we did it last time, we didn't bake it in the oven because we did it in the actual library. And it came out in the wash pretty quickly. So I am using acrylic paints, and so are you. So it will get on you, and it'll take a few, like I already got it on me opening up the container. It'll take a few times to wash it off. Don't panic. It'll come off. My hands were like this the other day, and they definitely didn't stay that way. But be mindful of your clothes, because that'll be harder to get out of, right? So maybe put on an apron or, you know, an old t-shirt that you don't mind getting a little paint on. I mean, hopefully the paint will end up on the mug, right? Not everywhere. That's the goal. So what you'll get home is you'll get a couple of containers of paint. And there's different colors, and if you're doing it with a sibling, you can, you know, mix and match your colors, whatever you want to do. And then a mug, obviously, and some stencils. Now, the stencils are different sizes. So again, I know a few of you have signed up, have siblings, so you could pick between different sizes. Also, like mine's a little big, so you can change your design based on that. So what I've decided is I'm going to do, like, on the front of the mug, the big leaf, and on the back of the mug. And then on the side of the mugs, like little leaves falling. That's my plan. You know my artwork. We'll see how it goes. The stencil itself will get dirty. You can wash it, reuse it for another project. You can toss them, don't worry about it. But if you don't want it to affect another color, maybe keep a little damp paper towel near you to wipe it down while the paint's still wet to get it off. Right? I have two different size brushes since my stencils are so different. You can use, because you guys probably have by now, a brush like this because I've sent them home. And you could definitely use this for the detailed work. And if you have a bigger brush, you can use it. If you don't, you can just use one of these. It's perfectly fine. And, alright, so one more mode of business is the heating process. You want to put your mug in a cold oven. You don't want the oven on when you put it in. Then you're going to, after you paint it and put it in the oven, you're going to set it, or you're going to have your parents set it to 350. You're going to leave the mug in with the oven on for 30 minutes. Then you're going to turn the oven off. And you're going to leave the mug on until the oven completely cools. Alright? I don't know why. It's science. Explain it to me in the comments. But that's what they said to do. So that's what I'm going to do. And still be mindful, even though the oven may have cooled down, still be mindful of taking your mug out of the oven, because clearly glass in an oven, it's going to be hot. So when you put it in the oven, you might even want to put it into a ceramic dish, so you could take the pot holders and just carry the dish out, right? Rather than taking pot holders and grabbing a mug, which might be a little more difficult, and hopefully the paint will be cooked on by then, but, you know, just in case. So, let's start painting, right? Hey guys, I'm actually filming this at the end of the recording. And I just want to say, if you use too much paint, it might drip. So be careful. Because, like, that side looks like that. But this looks great. That looks great. I'm happy with everything else. This side, I struggled with the stencil a little bit. You'll see later in the video. So I think I overcompensated. So just keep that in mind. I didn't want you to find out at the end not to use too much paint. Alright? So that's my little interlude for you. Everything else I think came out great. I'm very happy with it. So I hope you guys have fun, and let's make art together. Again, you have a cup of water now. I grabbed a couple of extra paper towels. It's glass. If you make a mistake, wipe it off, try again, right? That's all. The only issue is once you have multiple leaves on, you want to be really mindful of not like if you have a paper towel and you're wiping it with one end, like obviously make this smaller, but still you're wiping it with one end, you don't want this end messing up something that you might have already done over here, right? Because you're putting a lot of work into this. You want to do a good job. I know I do. This is the picture of what I saw on Pinterest. So that's what we're kind of working off of. I like the gold a lot, or mustard yellow, so I'm going to do the big one then. So again, what I'm going to do is take the big brush, color in like the middle, and then use the little brush for the finer edges. Put a little bit of tape. On this so it'll stay in place while I'm painting. You don't need a lot, because again, you want to be mindful of everything else that you are painting, and you don't want to cover any of the stencil itself. So I'm going to put that right over there. It's not going to be perfect, because otherwise we would need 9 million pieces of tape, but you can always use your fingers to hold parts of it down. Alright? I'm glad I thought of that. That's why if you get the paint on the stencil, it's fine. So while I'm making this video, it is officially the first day of fall. And fall, as I've told you before, it is my favorite. Alright, I'm going to use the little brush now. So I'm going to put my big brush right in the water. So when I do my other big leaf, it'll be all ready to use and not dried out a little bit, depending how long it takes to do the little leaves. So the point of the stencil is even if you go over the shape, it's just going to be on the stencil. So like this, you might want to hold it down with your finger. Alright, so now I've painted my one big leaf. I'm going to paint the side here, but don't flip your mug because the paint is obviously still wet. You don't have to lay it down, you could stand it up, and then you're not going to lean it on that. That's alright. We get our paper towel. At this point the water's a little icky. We'll see if this works, if not we'll get cleaner water. But see? Again, I'm glad I made a mistake. It comes right off because it's glass, right? It's not canvas. Easy, easy. But if you do have to do that, be mindful of moving your mug around. I'm going to do the other leaves in the other color. So we wash off our brush. There we go. And we get a little bit more tape, right? This one, since it's so small, you might not want to tape it because it's going to take you such little time to paint it in. This is where if you have a parent who doesn't mind getting painted on, or a guardian, you know, maybe they could hold it for you a little bit. They will get painted on though. So you could do like this, and then one in the middle, and one at the bottom, right? So that's what I am going to do, and I will be back since you won't be able to see it on camera. I'll do it off camera and then I'll show you how it comes out. Did 2 leaves so far, and I had done a third one, and it wiped right off because the stencil had moved a little bit, so I just redid it, that's all. So, let me... And then also what I found, like I just want to teach you guys this so you don't make the same mistakes I do. Since it wasn't sitting there and I'm moving this one because it's so small, it was kind of dragging the paint with it. Not dragging, it's not like I was dragging it down, but it was leaving whatever the residue was on the cup. So, wet paper towel, wipe it down, and you're all good. I'm going to try it the third one again. There we go. I'm going to give it a good lean-to here, right? If your brush is too wet from the water, dab it on your plate so the paint doesn't run just because of that. If you want to tape the stencil on, it might make it easier. And you can kind of clean it up with your, like I just cleaned it up a little because the stencil smushed it. So I cleaned it up a little with just my brush. And you can, if you have a little bit extra, you know, just be careful about it because your paint's still wet. Do that, get it a little wet. See? You could definitely, if you don't like using the stencils, do whatever you want. Make your own shape. If you're using tape and you put this on again for the other side, account for the tape when you're placing it on, not just the size of the stencil. Otherwise the tape will go over your other works. Right. Alright. So that one came off a little quick, but you can always, like, I'm adding the stem without the stencil. So while you're halfway through, if there's any paint splatters or anything you see before it's completely dry, just wipe them off. Okay. So I am going to do my second side. Now I'm going to leave the cup standing up this time, so you really won't be able to see what I'm doing, and I apologize for that. But so goes art, right? Oh, I forgot. I'm going to wipe down my stencil before it really sets in there. There we go. I should move it over here so it doesn't get paint on it. And you might, in between, want to wash your hands because I'm kind of gripping the mug and it's leaving little marks just from my hands alone. Make sure your brush is nice and clean. There was a little bit of red mixed in. So if you notice it right away, always a good thing, right? All I'm doing, and I'm like dabbing with my brush. If you want to give this to somebody for Thanksgiving, like if mom or dad or grandma made a really nice dinner for you, this could be a nice thank you, right? Carefully lift it off. There we go. Okay. And it's still bright. A little bit of paint off with it. There we go. Yeah, you gotta have a little patience for this. Because you smush it and then you fix it and it works out. That's See, I smushed it, but then I fixed it. It's still a little smushy, but you can pretend that the leaf is flying through the air. So now I'm going to do one more set of the red leaves here. And then I'm going to put it in the cold oven, remember? You put it in a cold oven and set to 350. Leave it in there for 30 minutes with the oven on. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's important. Then turn the oven off, but leave the mug in until the oven's cool. All the way cooled down, right? So you won't be able to get it for a couple of hours, probably. But if you put the light on in the oven, you could see it. So I'm going to experiment for you guys. I'm going to tape the red leaf because that was kind of a hot mess when I did it the other way. There we go. You still want to hold it down. Only because right here I have the stem to the big leaf. And it looks nice. I really don't want to mess that up. Guys, so here is the finished product. I think it came out nice. Oh, this dripped a little in the oven. I bet you could still, well, you could try to, I don't know why that happened. But I guess be mindful of that. So I think how to fix that might be to use a little bit less paint than I did. That might be a good idea, right? But I'm very happy with the big leaves. And this side came out really nice. So I did struggle with the other side. So I probably had more paint than necessary because I was trying to shape it much better. Because for some reason the stencil, it got away from me. But I think overall, other than that, it looks really nice. I hope you guys like it. And I hope you like yours. And if you want to send me pictures, I can either put them on Instagram. If you don't want them on Instagram, let me know. I would still love to just see pictures of your mugs. And my email is Andrea@westhamptonlibrary.org. I'll see you guys next week.